Well, football season is on the way, and fortunately, Gordy Rush is here to talk about that. But we begin with an opportunity for businesses that you probably just won't believe, but it's true. Roll it, Kyle. So I know I'm going to tell you about this, and you're going to go, there's just no way. There's no way this is real. So how about this? If you've owned a business since before the pandemic, that is before 2020, and you had a disruption because of the coronavirus, and you've got W-2 employees, there is an opportunity for you to get literally thousands per employee, and it's not a loan, and there is no catch. I know. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, let's talk about it. Milton Kleinpeter is here, and I must admit, when he told me about it, I said, what? No, there's no way. But let's talk about this program. And with companies right now hurting so bad to find staffing, and even if they can find staffing, they're still recovering from the impact of 2020 and that lag on their business. This is a phenomenal way to help businesses around the country. Tell us about it.
It really is, Clay, and thanks for having me on. So the Employee Retention Credit is all part of the CARES Act. So the CARES Act, we know, started to, relieve people, the businesses, and even us as individual citizens during the time of COVID.
Yeah.
So prior to this, and this is why people find it unbelievable, when you had a PPP loan, you could not get the Employee Retention Credit. But as it's migrated from the CARES Act to the American Rescue Plan into its current iteration, which really took place last year at the end of the year, now businesses that were previously ineligible are now eligible. So you're talking about all kinds of companies that previously, their CPAs rightfully told them, guess what, you're ineligible, but now you are.
So going back to the PPP, and it was early on in this cycle, and companies were shut down. They couldn't make any money, so the government subsidized them to a degree. But a lot of businesses didn't realize then that you had to pay taxes on that money, that you had to pay taxes like that was earned profit. This is different, but let's go back to that. The lack of understanding before asking for the dollars was detrimental to some companies. How do you avoid that this go around?
Well, the great thing is that we're able to really talk to companies on an individual basis, really interview them, get into their business so that we understand it more fully. We want to find out about their PPP loans, either the first or the second or both, find out whether or not it was forgiven. Once we have that information and a few other parameters, we then go in, we perform a basic analysis. We will find out whether or not they're eligible for the ERC, and basically about 80% of the companies, 80 to 90%, are eligible. Just as you said, the criteria is so easy that it actually seems laughable. And just like when I shared this with you, when someone shared it with me, I thought it was completely incorrect and completely false. I said, this is too good to be true.
Too good to be true.
Absolutely.
So this is national. This is not just here in Louisiana.
That's correct.
Talk with me a little bit about what your colleagues are saying to you about what's happening across the country with businesses.
Well, the great thing about this is that it's really getting to the business owners that were hurt so much. There was a winery that we did that actually lost a lot of money, I think in Arizona. They just got back $120,000 or so. And that's going to allow them to bring their operation back to full fruition. We have companies here that we've gotten back hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. I got an email on Monday from a company, a local company, that got back about $200,000. We have another company that's in the medical space. They got back over $860,000. And this goes directly back to those companies' operations. They can now hire people. They can buy new equipment. They can build their businesses again after such a catastrophic failure.
And I know people are hearing these numbers and they're probably like, wow, but those are real numbers. And in the next segment, we'll get into how this process works to kind of talk people through it. But I want to also ask you about the impact that the current economy has had on businesses right now because of what we've been dealing with inflation and all the fear around a recession. And we appear to be coming out of it to some degree. But what are you finding from businesses now? Because there was some skepticism in talking to fellow business owners about making certain investments because they wanted to hold the cash.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what are you hearing?
Well, just this program is actually freeing up cash for businesses. So as far as this program goes, it's really a boon to businesses. Generally, there is a little malaise in the economy.
Yeah.
We definitely see that, and there is fear because we see all of these amazing peaks and valleys in the stock market. If you get on and you watch CNBC and some of the other financial shows in the morning, there's a lot of uncertainty. They just had earnings calls a few weeks ago, and so we have a lot of uncertainty around all of that.
All right, so we're going to come back with Milton and talk about the ERC and tell you how this can work for you. If you own a business, get a notepad. It'll also tell you how you can contact them. And no, it's not a charade. It's a real deal. And then we'll talk with Gordy about football season. I don't know why, but he'll be here anyway. Back in just a moment. So if you own a business or run a business and you're wondering how this works, we're going to get into that in just a moment with Milton Kleinpeter. Let's talk about the types of businesses that have taken advantage of this program so far.
Well, it's amazing. Any business from a small mom and pop with 2 employees up to we have a national company that has about 400 employees. They took advantage of it. Obviously, they got substantial money back. I focus because of my background on companies in the healthcare space, FQHCs, hospitals, doctors' offices. And so they are able to bring monies back into their organizations that they lost due to COVID and all of the challenges during that time.
And this is any business with W-2 employees.
W-2 employees.
So, you know, the restaurant industry especially, I wonder how many of them that you've been able to work with because so many of them were shut down because people couldn't come in and eat. And you and I were talking with Gordy before we started the show about in New Orleans how there's all that caution down there. What about restaurants? Have they been taking advantage of this?
Absolutely. We've had 5 or 6 local restaurants take advantage of it. And again, with our team, we have probably, on my immediate team, probably about 20 or 30 restaurants that we've helped to do.
All right.
Absolutely.
So let's talk through the process. Someone is listening to you talk about this and they're saying, look, I think I might qualify for that. Tell us how that works.
Yeah, so the great thing is they can reach out to us and we will walk them, we'll interview the organization.
Okay.
So we like to have the owner or the CPA or whoever is handling the books. We'll simply go through about 16 questions, and then we'll find out how they qualify based on one of 3 parameters.
Okay.
So there's the diminution of revenue, which is for a baseline year of 2019. They're also going to look at 2020 and 2021. So it's a 50% reduction in revenue for 2019 versus 2020, and only a 20% reduction in revenue for 2021 versus 2019.
So if you were down 50%
of revenue
in gross revenue in 2020, you qualify, and you said that's 20% in 2021.
That's correct.
And obviously that's because things opened up a lot more last year than they were in 2020. Okay, go ahead.
Absolutely. So that's where everyone thinks the only qualification modality is, but it isn't. So there are actually 2 more qualification modalities. So the second one now is, was there an absolute interruption in your supply chain? And people think of the supply chain as all kinds of big complex things, but the supply chain is actually anything from paper clips to, if you're GE, building jet engines, turbines.
Yeah.
So everything in between. So there's that qualification modality, and then there's an absolute shutdown in our areas. So we know from the CDC report that we reference that the shutdown here in Baton Rouge and Louisiana was basically from March 15th until about May the 8th.
Right.
So businesses qualify that way. And again, it's $5,000 per employee, up to $5,000 per employee for 2020, and up to $21,000 per employee for 2021. So it is substantial for companies to do this.
And this isn't a loan.
This is not a loan, and these are unencumbered funds.
Yeah.
Once they come back to the organization, there are no earmarks or anything for this.
This is fascinating. How long does it take once someone has gone through the interview process to actually get the money?
So it's about a 3-step process. So we're going to interview you, and we're going to get a basic number. Once we finish that interview, we're going to send this to our vendor, ERC specialist, and this is all we do as an organization. ERC tax credits. There are other people that do them, but this is all we do.
Okay.
From there, that takes about 2 weeks. Once that final analysis is done and the owner approves it, we send it off to the IRS.
Okay.
That process is 4 to 8 months.
How can people learn more about this?
They can go to ercspecialist.com, or they can reach out and call me up. I'll give you my cell number. It's area code.
I don't know if I want to do that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want Gordy to have your cell number.
Well, I don't know
Let's ask
about
him.
that. Yeah, we'll find out that from Gordy, okay?
Well, listen, ercspecialist.com to learn more about this program. And Milton's going to be back a lot over the next few weeks to talk about how this is going. And actually, we hope that some of you who go through the program will share your success with us so we can get the word out about this.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Milton. We'll talk football in just a moment with the Gordy Rush. Stay right there. I don't really deserve this. Who does? I mean, go ahead, go to 3.
Thank you. This is I'm Gordy, by the way, and this is the cup that I received the trophy for picking the Los Angeles Rams to win the Super Bowl on the Clay Young Show last year. In a few minutes, I'm going to let you know who's going to win this year's Super Bowl. Thanks for having me.
Yep. That's how this day is going, huh? So let's start with something I actually do want to talk about
Yes, sir.
before we get to that. Let's talk about the college football season.
Absolutely.
That is about to begin very shortly here. You've had a chance to watch the Tigers practice. How have they looked?
Fantastic. I've really been impressed with Coach Kelly. He has certainly changed the culture. In
what way? I hear that a lot, but
right.
in what way?
I think that he has everybody pulling in the right direction. He has everyone practicing the way he wants it to practice. It's as efficient as run practice as I've seen in quite some time. And I think he has people buying in. And so it's really been a pleasure to watch.
So here's the thing. And I know that you don't mean it that way, and Matt was here a few weeks ago, and I know he doesn't mean it that way, but you can't help to draw comparisons to his predecessor when you hear about the efficiency and how professional it is.
Right.
And you're not, by implication, saying this is a bash on Orgeron.
No.
Because Ed Orgeron led the team to the best season in LSU football history. So Kelly still has to do that.
Oh, yeah, there's no question. That's not a knock on Coach Orgeron. You know, I think early on when he took over as the interim, and certainly in 2018, 2019, I think he had that culture, right, going in the right direction. He had a lot of staff changes, obviously a lot of departures after 2019. He had COVID, and I think that affected some of it. And so I think Coach Kelly has come in here, and I think this is who we are. This is where we're going to practice. If you want to play here, you need to do A, B, C, and D. And so far, they've just given I think, enough of the playbook out there that's been impressive to see that they are executing on a really high level, and I think that's what I mean by that.
What about the specialists from quarterback to receiver?
Yeah.
How are they looking?
Well, I think it's a two-person quarterback race. It's Jane Daniels, the transfer from Arizona State, and Garrett Nussmeier. And obviously with Miles Brennan's departure, he's out of the race. And then Walker Howard, who's a fantastic talent, a true freshman. I think the plan is you want to redshirt him, but you need him ready in case you do need to play him. And I think both Daniels and Nussmeier fit what they want to do offensively.
So what will the offense look like? What style?
Yeah, it's one back, a lot of zone read. And at Cincinnati last year, Denbrock played a lot of 2 tight end sets. LSU's thin at tight end, and they have a lot of receivers, which we'll get to. But I think a lot of play action, move the pocket in a short passing game and getting rid of the football really quick.
And this year, what's your expectation? I mean, I know that you have a number in your mind. I know you don't always like to get into that, but what do you think?
It's harder this year because it's a new team, and with the transfer portal and everything that's happened in college football, just not LSU. You know, in my mind, it's 8-4, 9-3, and I think they're going to get off to a good start. The back half of the season is really interested. Once you get to Tennessee here in Tiger Stadium, you get Tennessee, who was really one of the more improved teams in the league last year. Then you've got Ole Miss, you've got Alabama, you've got Arkansas, you've got Texas A&M. So the back half of the schedule is tougher. I think if they can get off to a good start, they can be in that 8-4, 9-3 range.
Quickly here, LSU Southern, it's a big, big weekend for Baton Rouge. Your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And, you know, I've always been a huge fan of playing the state schools, and especially with the paydays that are going on out there. I'd rather help a Southern, a Southeastern, Louisiana, Northwestern than Furman. And it's a game that 9.8 or 9.9 times out of 10 you're going to win. Why not help the state schools? I think it's fantastic. It's going to be a special moment.
Okay. The NFL season.
NFL season.
Yep.
Okay. You know, Super Bowl for you. I've got the Bills winning the Super Bowl over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers this year. Tampa Bay and Brady coming back, even though Fournette might be a little, 5 or 10 or 20 or 30 pounds overweight, that they're going to be good, and that division is really weak. I think the Saints are obviously going through a restructure. Carolina and Atlanta are a hot mess. I think the Rams, my big question is Stafford's tendonitis in his arm. That's an older quarterback. How does that play? I think the 49ers are going to go 4-13, and I think that they're really going to struggle. And the power is going to go to the AFC.
I think the Bengals. My own set.
I think the Bengals don't make the playoffs because I think it's going to be a very, very competitive
4-13.
4-13. They do. They're going to struggle this year. They really are. But the good thing is the Seahawks might go 3-14, so you won't be in last place. So with Drew Lock and all, but
4-13.
4-13. That's good.
I mean, based upon
it's
what the team was almost in the Super Bowl last year. Is Mark here?
Yeah.
Did Mark make it in yet? Okay, so we're going to have to do another segment because because I don't understand that.
Just a lot of transition out there.
That's like some social media trolling going on right there.
Could be.
You got lucky with the Rams last year.
Nailed it.
How did you nail it?
Stafford went over there, brought them the quarterback. They made great plays on the defensive side.
Seriously?
Sean McVay's a great coach. Love Sean McVay.
Okay. Let's just go to commercial break, and then we'll come back and just go to commercial break. You know, after that slanderous prediction of 4-13 by Gordy Rush, he was very politely asked to leave the facility. And after a lot of pulling and screaming, he's out of the building now. So now we can actually talk to someone that I want to talk with. Mark Armstrong, who's communication director for the city of Baton Rouge and East Baton Rouge Parish, is here to talk about blight.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
We are getting into this season where it rains so much and people are worried about how trash can clog up some of these little waterways in our city and cause that back flooding to go on. But the city has invested in this to the tune of $4.5 million, 2 to 3 year duration for this program. Tell us what's going on with that.
Yeah, so American Rescue Plan, $4.5 million. As you said, it's what I'm calling the East Baton Rouge Parish Blight Initiative. It's going to be a very aggressive initiative where we're effectively, and I'm almost hesitant to say this, but clear the slate of a lot of the backlog that we have on blight, which will allow us to focus on some larger neighborhood issues. Of course, whenever you're talking about blight, you're talking about private property. We're in the middle of the grass growing season, so you see those private lots with tall grass on them. You've also got junk, trash, and debris, which will accumulate on lots, needs to be cleared off. And then, of course, the condemnations, which gets decided by the Metro Council. We go out there after they're condemned and we tear down, demolish those houses. So this is to give us a real shot in the arm and to get caught up on a lot of those smaller properties throughout the parish. You know,
I was talking to Kelvin about this maybe last year, the first time he was on the show, and we talked about the fact that the funding is now here for a lot of that.
That's right.
Now, he did say and the budget for DPW is about $9 million, but with the federal dollars, they've got about $40 million to spend on some of the work that's going on.
Right.
If you were to look into a crystal ball and tell people in 2 years what this will look like on the other side, what will it look like?
You know, what we're really trying to create is something much bigger. We're trying to empower a lot of the residents out there that live on the streets that are most likely to have blighted properties on them, and to give them the resources and the tools to get out there and to really rejuvenate their neighborhoods. You notice if you go down a street that has some blighted properties, 9 out of 10 homes on that street is very well kept. A lot of times it's maybe an older couple, they're on a fixed income, and they are investing in the quality of their property, and they deserve to live in a neighborhood where they don't have properties on those neighborhoods that are experiencing blight, that are eyesores, that are bringing down the quality of life. Now, I also have to say, while there are bad actors out there, there's maybe some companies that'll pick up these properties and never really invest in them, just kind of hold on to them. A lot of blighted properties are also owned by people who don't have the resources. So we're also trying to empower them as well. September 24th, we got a blight boot camp coming up. It's going to be an all-day event. Yeah, and we did our first one before the pandemic. This is going to be the second one that we do.
So what happens at the blight boot camp?
So this is a really good time for, we're hoping about 100, 200 residents who live in these neighborhoods who are really concerned about this issue can come out and learn about resources that are available to them, grants they can apply for, how they could maybe even purchase a home using, say, HUD funding, and then turn it into a rental property that also answers the need for affordable housing in this community.
I love that. And you know, I don't think when people hear us talk about blight, you know, some may wonder, why is this so important? It feeds everything from drug activity to other kinds of crime. And so if you could address it, not only is it a quality of life issue, it's optics, but it has an impact on public safety, correct?
It does. So with crime, a lot of times blight or a blighted property can be a piece of infrastructure for a criminal enterprise. You know, they could be dealing, you know, illegal drugs in there. They could be doing any number of things, stashing guns there. I mean, you hear the district attorney say that, you know, a lot of time crime happens within a certain distance of a blighted property. And really, blight is just another symptom of underlying causes of disinvestment. So we got to go in there and we got to attack all these issues. We got to provide as many resources as we can. We got to educate our community as much as possible. We also do a lot of things to educate developers. We do a lot to educate small businesses who want to get in the business of cleaning up blight. You notice we're holding these events all the time. Come together, come learn how you can invest. That also drives up the competition, which is good for taxpayers on these contracts.
So, you know, the process of getting properties from, say, siblings of a deceased homeowner has been complicated. Has that become any more smooth over the last several years?
I know that our partners over the Baton Rouge Area Chamber were able to get some legislation put through a couple of years ago to help with adjudicated properties. Of course, Louisiana has its very specific property codes, goes back to that Napoleonic code. But blight is something that happens throughout the country, happens throughout the South. It happens outside of Louisiana and outside of Baton Rouge. It's a nationwide issue, so we have to look at best practices everywhere and implement those best practices.
Are you optimistic about our ability to be able to get our hands around the problem of blighted properties and getting the grass and everything taken care of here in the parish?
So, of course, part of this initiative is even going to visit repeat offenders. And of course, we're just going to keep on putting the information out there, and yes, we will make transformative change when it comes to this.
We'll get Mark back more to talk about other things happening in the city of Baton Rouge. He's all over the place covering all the initiatives and everything going on. Mark, I appreciate you coming by.
Clay, thank you so much.
You guys have a fantastic weekend, and we'll catch you next week right here on The Clay Young Show, and Gordy Rush will not be back.